Most cars today go for a couple $1,000, but have you ever thought about what a $100 million car would look like? Well, we're about to ask Ralph Lauren, the man whose name is probably inscribed on the cloth you are wearing right now. In today's video, let's visit Ralph Lauren's garage to see some of his exotic and expensive cars. Let's start with his Ferrari LaFerrari. The company rolled out this car in 2013 when it was described as Ferrari's flagship hypercar, but did it live up to the hype? You see, the LaFerrari wasn't actually built to be a regular sports car. Like, come on, a 6.3-liter V12 with an electric motor, a sick output of 950 horsepower, and a top speed of more than 217 miles an hour. That is definitely not the kind of stat for some random sports vehicle. Before we go on, please like this video and subscribe to this channel. It would encourage us to make more videos on celebrity cars and bikes. Also, if you've got any celebrity you want us to do next, just let us know in the comments section. Now, Ferrari got really serious with the LaFerrari when they added a double wishbone front suspension and a multi-link rear suspension and topped it all off when they installed the Kinetic Energy Recovery System, or KERS for short. This helped the vehicle recover some of its energy during braking and also stored it for later. Ralph Lauren's LaFerrari is particularly well known for its glossy black exterior, which is a rare look for the super expensive LaFerrari. Inside, there is a high-fidelity sound system, a smooth infotainment setup, and a centrally mounted 12.3-inch TFT display. Then, the seats are all clothed in high-quality leather and Alcantara. Today, in 2025, the LaFerrari is priced at more than $3 million. For Ralph Lauren, this was probably chicken change, a small price to pay for a really good piece of Ferrari's craziness. Another wild vehicle in Ralph Lauren's garage is his 1955 Jaguar XKD, a car that might seem outdated, but actually has quite the blend of cutting-edge tech and racing blood. Also called the D-Type, it was made between 1954 and 1957 with just one aim: to crush the competition at the Le Mans 24-hour race. So how do you design a car that is meant to trash every other supercar at the Le Mans? Well, the Jaguar company started by giving it a 3.4-liter inline-six engine that produced around 250 horsepower and 242 pounds of torque. Then they added a 4-speed manual transmission that allowed it a top speed of 162 miles an hour. To increase its strength, they gave it a monocoque chassis with a design that was sort of borrowed from aviation tech. And its independent front suspension and live rear axle made it super easy for the driver to handle. No race car is perfect without a crazy type of brake, so they spiced it all up with 4-wheel disc brakes. Now here's where it gets interesting. Ralph Lauren's own XKD was the exact same car that helped Jaguar dominate the Le Mans for 3 straight years, ending its streak when it came 6th at the 1957 event. While it might have gotten it for a relatively lesser price, the XKD today is normally sold for around $21.7 million. Ralph Lauren's may go for as high as $25 million. You know, it's one hell of a garage when you see a McLaren parked inside. Ralph Lauren's aren't just any McLaren. He owns an F1 and even the rarer F1 LM. Let's talk about these bad boys. The McLaren F1 was made between 1992 and 1998, and with only 106 ever built, it became a real McLaren. It ran on a 618 horsepower output from its 6.1-liter V12, and with its 6-speed manual transmission, it made a Guinness World Record in 1998 with a top speed of 240.1 miles an hour. Now, compared to normal race cars and regular cars, the driver sits in the center with 2 passenger seats beside him. Then the engine bay was sealed with gold foil, not just for looks, but also to cool the engine. We probably should talk about its carbon fiber monocoque chassis, double wishbone suspension system, which had inboard mounted dampers, and the active rear spoiler, which were actually ahead of their time. Then there's the F1 LM, the more exclusive McLaren. Only 5 of these were ever made, and with their super-powered V12, it all got crazy. The F1 LM ran on 671 horsepower and maxed out at a slightly lesser speed of 225 miles per hour. It had racing-style seats, a modified front splitter, a larger rear spoiler, and a lower, stiffer, and track-tuned suspension. It was created in 1995 to celebrate McLaren's big win at the Le Mans game that year, adding quite a lot to its value. On the note of price, the F1 and its LM version are actually very expensive. A 9-to-5 job may not get them for you. The regular F1 sells for more than $16 million at auction, and the F1 LM goes a bit higher, selling for around $19.8 million. For the two, Ralph Lauren has more than $35 million worth of McLaren sitting pretty in his garage. Now, of course, Ralph Lauren owns a Mercedes-Benz. His 1930 Mercedes-Benz SSK, or Count Trossi Roadster, was originally owned by Italian race car driver Count Carlo Felice Trossi, and is one of only 33 SSKs ever made. Even more special is that it is the only one with a custom body designed by Trossi himself. Powered by a supercharged 7.1-liter inline-six engine, it runs on 300 horsepower and over 500 pound-feet of torque. Maxing out at a speed of 120 miles an hour, it was one of the fastest cars of the 1930s. While designing it, Trossi gave it a gorgeous black finish, dramatically elongated fenders, and a low, aggressive stance. He was also the brains behind the vehicle's teardrop shape and the split windshield. After Ralph Lauren got his in the 1980s, he had Paul Russell and company run a full restoration on the vehicle. After 2 years spent at the workshop, it finally made an appearance at the 1993 Pebble Beach Concours d'Elegance, where it took home the top prize of being the best of show. To think about it, this is a 60-year-old car competing with way younger vehicles like the Isuzu Trooper RS and the Jaguar XJ220, which were both built in the very same year as the competition. If you're wondering just how much the Count Trossi Roadster is worth, well, it's tough to say. Models similar to that of Ralph Lauren are sold as high as $10 million, so you might want to shake down your pockets and empty all your accounts if you want to get this car. Come on, you didn't think Ralph Lauren owned only one Ferrari? Well, he actually has at least 3, including the Ferrari 375 Plus and the Ferrari 250. Testarossa Spider. Yep, let's get talking. Only 8 Ferrari 375 Plus were built in 1954, all with the purpose of bagging a long list of race titles. They all use a 5.0-liter Lampretti 512 that pushes out 330 horsepower and could hit speeds as high as 174 miles an hour. Designed by Pininfarina, they have a torpedo-shaped body with quite the front grille, and inside it was all covered with premium leather. It's fair to say that the Ferrari actually got lucky with their 375 Plus, as they were able to win at the 24 Hours of Le Mans and the Carrera Panamericana with this vehicle. Sold at auction in 2014, this vehicle went for about $18.3 million. Today, it could cost you something around $23 or $25 million. Likewise, Ralph Lauren's 1958 Ferrari 250. Testarossa Spider had quite the story to itself. It used a much smaller 3.0-liter Tipo 1 2.8 Colombo 512 that gave out 300 horsepower and was able to go up to 168 miles an hour. Scaglietti designed this vehicle and added a couple of super stylish features, including its unique pontoon fenders, bucket seats, and a large steering wheel. Because its layout was that of a race car, the pontoon fenders were added for better cooling of the large brake drums, which also had angled cooling fins to dissipate heat effectively during high-speed racing. With this vehicle, Ferrari won the World Sports Car Championship in 1958, 1960, and 1961. Today, it is probably the most sought-after classic Ferrari, and its price, more than $40 million. Then there's Ralph Lauren's Lamborghini Reventon, the one car that follows him everywhere. Purchased in 2010, his model is the only one present in the US, with only 16 ever created. You see, there are just some cars that shouldn't be allowed on a casual highway. The Reventon is one of them. Its whole design was taken from the layout of modern fighter jets, even its sharp angles and matte gray finish called Grigio Reventon. Its exterior is made entirely out of carbon fiber, and its headlights, for the first time in Lamborghini's history, used 7 LEDs, acting as daytime running lights. Are we forgetting anything? Oh, the engine. The Reventon ran on 670 horsepower and 487 pounds of torque, produced by its 6.5-liter V12. With its 6-speed transmission, it accelerated to 60 miles an hour in just 3.4 seconds and has a top speed of 205 miles an hour. Inside, Lamborghini used a mix of Nero Perseus leather and Grigio Alcantara for every inch. The dashboard has a digital TFT display that is similar to that in an aircraft, and it has a premium sound system. When it was rolled out in 2007, the Reventon was priced at $2 million. Ralph Lauren never disclosed how much he spent in acquiring it, but seeing that it's the only one in the United States, and also the only one among 16, it could be valued as high as $15 million today. Finally, Ralph Lauren's 1938 Bugatti Type 57 SC Atlantic Coupe. He got this car in 1988, 50 years after it was produced. Actually, after only 4 were produced. Yeah, Bugatti didn't want to go big with production because it was meant to be a super luxurious car. And so, they made only 4 of them. Ralph Lauren's own model was originally delivered to a British tennis player named Richard B. Pope on May 2, 1938. Richard kept it for almost 30 years before passing it to a few more owners, and eventually to Ralph Lauren. Let's get talking. The Type 57 SC had a teardrop-shaped aluminum body with a bizarre dorsal seam running from front to back. That seam was actually adopted from an earlier concept car called the Aerolith, which was designed by John Bugatti. For the engine, the Type 57 SC used a 3.3-liter twin cam that produced around 220 horsepower and 200 pound-feet of torque. It ran on a 4-speed manual transmission and got to speeds as high as 123 miles an hour. It's interesting that the insides of the Type 57 SC were actually designed by John Bugatti himself. Lauren's own model, known by its chassis number 57591, was carefully restored in a deep black finish that sort of followed Lauren's signature style. In 2013, this particular Type 57 SC won the Concorso d'Eleganza Via d'Este. Over the years, its price kept hitting the sky, and today it is the most prized car in Ralph's garage, valued at $100 million. Surely these are just a fraction of the cars in Ralph Lauren's garage. He also owns a McLaren P1 that goes for more than $2 million, a 1955 Porsche 550. Spider priced at $6 million, a $12 million Alfa Romeo 8C 2300, and a 1962 Ferrari 250 GTO, which is priced at around $70 million. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button so we can update you on all our upcoming content. Also, comment what celebrity car collection you want us to do next. We'll catch you in the next one.